Welcome back, Chelsea fans, to another YouTube exclusive of the London is Blue podcast. I, of course, am your host, Nick, and we, of course, are here to talk about your Subway Cup champions. That's right, League Cup champions, Chelsea Women's Football Club. They are unbelievable right now, off to a 2-1 win of the first of 4 straight matches against Manchester City. In this one, we are going to dive into the match, what went right, what went wrong, and what Chelsea need to do at the end. A little bit of a match preview for Wednesday's Champions League first leg of the quarterfinal against Man City up at their place. So lots to pack into this one, but let's get straight into it with a little bit of a 3-word match review. I haven't done one of these in a minute, but defense shines brightly. Millie Bright with a standout performance, first of all, in the Subway Cup final, the League Cup final. Absolutely stood on her head in this one. Fantastic player, fantastic defending, and 14th trophy at Chelsea Football Club for Millie Bright. Her legend only grows, and I would love to see some sort of statue or plaque or something around Stamford Bridge once she is done, because her legacy is massive. Games like this add to her legacy, and like Chelsea played a scrappy game against Man City on, just let's be candid, an incredibly bad pitch. I don't know what they're doing up at Pride Park, but it was mostly sand, a little bit of dirt, and some green speckles of grass kind of littered throughout the pitch. Very bumpy, really difficult to play on. You could tell the players didn't have great footing in this one. Still, Chelsea just found a way. They found a way to win. This has been kind of a cursed trophy. Let's not forget this. Chelsea have lost 3 League Cup finals in a row. I was there for one of them a couple of years ago at Selhurst Park, where Chelsea scored first and then Arsenal kind of dominated the rest of the game. This was a really, really good and important victory for Chelsea. So let's dive into the specifics here. 2-1 victory, like I said. Mayra Ramirez opening the scoring in the 8th minute. Ficino getting the goal in the 64th minute for City, and then Yui Hasegawa with an own goal in the 77th minute to gift wrap a result for Chelsea here. We were talking a little bit on the last match review with Ollie. What would Sonia do in the first of these 4 matches, right? 4 straight matches against the same opponent. You're probably not going to play the same game plan every single time. And this was a little different. This was a little different than maybe we were expecting. Hannah Hampton in goal, of course. Lucy Bronze, right back. Natalie Bjorn, center back. Millie Bright, center back. Sandy Baltimore, left back. Lauren James on the left wing. JRK on the right. Cuthbert and Nuskin in the midfield. And then Mayra and Macario. Macario kind of like as second striker, number 10, behind Mayra's lone striker up top. This was an interesting lineup because in the previous home game against City in the league, lineup was different. You saw Maika Hamano really do a great job against Hasegawa, who is an incredibly talented player. Very difficult luck for her to score the own goal winner for Chelsea in this one. But an incredibly important result and a different lineup than I think maybe even I was expecting in the first one. Maika did come off the bench in the 75th minute, along with Aggie, Vika Kaptein, and Niamh Charles kind of rounded out the subs, unused subs of Spencer Lawrence, Jean Francois, Lola Brown, and Mia Fischel. So the stats in this one, hard to say, right? Chelsea's 12 shots to City's 17, 5 shots on target to their 6, so about even. Chelsea with only 47% of the possession, City with 53%. Passes to City, pass accuracy to City, fouls, 13 for Chelsea, only 4 to City, 1 yellow card for us, 2 for them, and 6 corners for them, 2 to us. It was a scrappy game. Again, pitch did no one any favors. Chelsea had a very strong start to this one. Obviously, Mayra getting the goal in the 8th minute. Did a pretty good job in the first half of maintaining control of the game. I think towards the end of the first half, kind of let City back into it. That kind of carried over for pieces of the second half. And then I think once City scored, Chelsea flipped it back on its head and started playing some much better football. I think the subs definitely helped in that regard, and were able to get it across the line. So this is Sonia Bonpastor's first trophy at Chelsea. It may seem odd to say that because all we've done is remain unbeaten in her tenure, and it is as of this game, it was March 15th. So all the way from September to March with no losses under Sonia Bonpastor, which is just absolutely incredible. Her quotes are the following: "It was really important to celebrate with the fans today. Sometimes when you're at a big club, the pressure is always on to the results. So when you have the opportunity to win, it's really important to celebrate. Having the fans in the stadium is something really wonderful because when you play football, there are the moments you want to celebrate with the players, your staff, your fans. Every day they make such an effort to support us in every game. You have the opportunity to give them happiness and trophies. That is the best that we can do." And they did that. That is a truly wonderful thing. She said, "I'm really pleased they were all here. We really felt their support, and I'm really happy they could celebrate this first trophy with us." She then talked about the match. The fans were a nice tribute there. She said, we have a lot of quality, but when you reflect on the game, the other team has a lot of quality too. It was tough today, but our mentality was the right one. We work really hard, and every time we step onto the pitch, we put our heart on the pitch, which is the right thing to do. But it is fine margins and small details going into these games. Sometimes it goes the way you want and sometimes not. So hopefully the other games go the way we want as well, referencing the next 3 games that we have against City. Lucy Bronze did the interview with Chelsea FC after the game. She said, we are trying to develop and have different ways to show how we can play and produce. We know how Man City like to play, but as a Chelsea team, we know we can play in any conditions, whether it's a really good pitch or different like today. So good. We can play balls in behind, and Myra today had a good chance to make it 2-0 up in the first half. Because of that, we always want to play more football, but the conditions didn't really suit for the kind of more dominant possession game. And she was right. I mean, this is a team that is adaptive. We found a lot of different ways to win this year. The pitch was terrible, and so I think we adapted as well as we could and could be expected. And that is the critical juncture for insight number 1 from this one. Chelsea were probably fortunate to win this game on balance, but we won it because winners win. And this Chelsea team have, except in 2 instances, won this year. It's a team that is built on a legacy of winning. Obviously, Millie's 14 trophies would tell you that. It is an incredibly difficult thing to do to win as often as Chelsea women do. And they have really set a high standard. This is not even a competition in which they win regularly. They've been to a bunch of finals and lost because of other priorities, competing Champions League priorities, all this sort of stuff. And to do it shows the mentality, shows the strength of this team, shows the depth of this team, shows the experience of the manager. I think it was fitting that Lucy did the post-game interview. Not an easy game for her necessarily, but she is a winner as well. She has been through the ringer. She's won things at City before coming to Chelsea, before going to Barcelona, obviously. This is a team that when the going gets tough, they don't shrink. Even if they don't play that well. And frankly, they didn't play that well in this one. They were okay. They were, I think SofaScore had them a 6.8 out of 10, something like that. 6.81 to City's 6.85. It was honors even in this one. But they decided to just go and try and make something happen. The late charge, let's call it, 80th minute on, was really impressive. They took it to City. City were on their last leg. You could tell if it wasn't the own goal, it looked like we were probably the more likely to score the second one. I'm really proud watching this team because unlike other Chelsea teams, they really went for it. They really tried to win, and it was evident. And it sets up an interesting thing as, we'll get to the preview for the Champions League here in a little bit. You won the first one. Now can you adapt and survive and change? And that's going to be the next thing that Sonia has to look at. Insight number 2 is all about the defense, and particularly the center back partnership. This was an absolutely standout game for Millie Bright and Natalie Bjorn. Absolutely fantastic play from both of them. Lucy Bronze went to say, in the modern game, players can neglect defending and their defensive responsibility sometimes. But when Millie Bright is in your team, you're not allowed to get away with that. I follow suit, and Nat Bjorn has been exceptional all season. I think she gets overlooked sometimes. Then the likes of Sandy, Ash Lawrence, Neve Charles, all very, very focused on our defensive duties. She said, "I'm not being funny. We have to play against the likes of LJ and Myra every day in training, so it's something we pride ourselves on." Iron sharpens iron in that regard, because these two center backs were absolutely fantastic. Bjorn, uh, look, Lucy is correct. Natalie Bjorn does not get enough credit for what an excellent addition she's been over the last year and change for Chelsea. 7 clearances, 2 block shots, 2 interceptions, was dribbled past twice. Ground duels, won 4 of 9. Aerial duels, didn't win one. Only lost possession 5 times. 95% accurate passing, 40-42. 5 of 6 long balls. Not bad. Millie Bright, 8 clearances, 2 block shots, 2 interceptions, only dribbled past once, 4 of 7 ground duels, lost possession 9 times to Bjorn's 5, so a little bit more. 81% pass accuracy, 9 of 15 long balls. These guys were absolutely incredible, and they will need to continue to be incredible. Obviously, Naomi Girma, who came into great fanfare in January, has not been healthy, got a little bit of an injury picked up in her first game, wasn't pretty. And you're kind of looking at that and going, probably Nat's role to lose for a while, maybe through the end of the season. It's just tricky. Girma's just coming off of a full season before getting transferred over the winter. So if I were Nat Bjorn, I would just keep playing great and potentially keep your spot, which is not something that we thought we'd be saying at the end of January when the transfer happened. Millie Bright, legend. There is no other way to put it. She's going to go down as one of the all-time great Chelsea players, regardless of team. I want to see a statue someday. She's absolutely incredible. And you could tell the leadership in this one was critical. You got some of the classic, Millie Bright yelling at co-defenders and midfielders. You got her up there on set pieces doing her thing, mixing it up. She is going to go down as one of the all-time greats, and it will only bolster her resume if she's able to get this just elusive Champions League trophy to her. But we're going to have to play a lot better to get there. I mean, I think just candidly, Hannah Hampton's woeful error in this game, some of the lackadaisical passing, the midfield did a lot of running and chasing, but not a whole lot of possessing and moving the ball through. I think the lack of Kira Walsh, might have hurt us a little bit in that regard. We got to play better. And Hannah, I think, has to start to play better than she's been playing. We know that she's capable of putting in 10 out of 10 performances. She's been a little off this year for whatever reason. So hopefully, this team can really gather itself and move the ball forward through midfield and not just through the wings. Defend like we know they're capable of defending and stay on this run, because what's next for Chelsea is away at City in the Women's Champions League on Wednesday. It's a big, big, big game. It is City's season on the line in this one. Obviously, Chelsea winning the first of these 4 matches puts a lot of pressure on City. City's going to have to be aggressive. They're going to have to go for this. And look, Chelsea have not really played that well up at City in previous years. It's been kind of a house of horrors. And, it seems like, we beat them down in Kingsmeadow. They beat us up in Manchester. Chelsea are going to have to go and, at the very least, try and get a draw out of this game. Then go home in a couple of weeks after, or the following week, I should say, and go do a job. Because this game, if Chelsea are able to get a result up in Manchester, sets everything up beautifully. I'm thinking there's probably going to be changes on Wednesday, just based on the lineup that was chosen in this game versus where the team have been previously. In the home game against City, Micah Hamano played a key role, and I actually thought that Kat Macario in the first half of this game was brilliant. Faded a little bit before being subbed. I think Micah probably starts this game. I think that she is the Hasegawa silencer and is probably going to come in and do some important work up in Manchester. So really excited for that. I think Niamh Charles is probably going to start at left back for Sandy Baltimore. That may push Sandy to left wing, depending on if LJ is good to go for all these games in a row, or if they want to sub in Sandy and do some kind of late subs with LJ that way. I think that Aggie might come in on the right wing in this one and do some important running, chasing, scoring potentially. I could see Aggie getting a goal in this game. Then I can see some important subs happening in this game. Aaron Cuthbert and Shuka Nuskin did an incredibly difficult job against City's excellent midfield in the League Cup final. They did a lot of running, a lot of chasing, a lot of harrying, a lot of tackling. That is a really difficult thing to do 4 times in a row. I think some early subs of Orangine Francois and Vika Kaptein could help kind of balance out the midfield a little bit, assuming that Kira Walsh is not 100% fit for this game. Those 2 subs could really inject some lovely tackling, some chasing, and give a little bit of a break to Aaron and to Shuka Nuskin, who are the preferred midfield options at this point. So it will be interesting to see as well whether Myra starts or if she comes off the bench, or if someone like Sam Kerr potentially makes her first appearance of the season. Might be a little too soon for Sam, but you could see Aggie maybe slot in up top and keep JRK in the squad. Like, there's a lot of different options. Maybe LJ goes to right wing to make room for Sandy Baltimore on the left. A lot of different combinations, but for this one, especially with Guro out, with Naomi Gurm out, with Kira Walsh, Sam Kerr, like, there are a bunch of players who will come back at some point, but I think for this one, you're probably just using the parts that you had in the League Cup final. I could also see Ashley Lawrence potentially making a start on Sunday against City in the league to kind of spell Lucy for the return Champions League leg. So lots of combinations here, but Chelsea are going to have to play a really smart game. City are going to be ultra aggressive. They're going to try and go for this. They're going to try and win this one early and put the pressure back onto Chelsea, return volley. If Chelsea are able to get a result, it sets up the final 2 matches of this 4-leg fixture, essentially, to be incredibly, incredibly interesting and probably suited for Chelsea. So love to hear what you think. Would love to hear what you thought of the performances, the different players, and what you think will happen on Wednesday. But until next time, Chelsea fans, you know what to do. Keep the blue flag flying high.